your dreams trying to tell you something? Author M.B. Mosley teaches you how to decode your dreams and take hold of the manifestations that lay in wait for you in the waking realm. Now, broadcasting all over the world, it's the Dream Interpretation Podcast.
All right. DZIP, hashtag DZIP, the Dream Zone Interpretation Podcast, folks. You can find me at askmemory2019 at gmail.com. And if you are looking for copies of my books, those are found at www.oneWordMemoryBengesa.org. And we're going to get right into our disclaimer. And folks, this podcast is being streamed all over the world, namely on Apple, Spotify, and iHeart, as well as plenty of podcast outlets as well as being streamed directly to YouTube. So if you're watching from YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and share the video. And folks, go ahead and download the streamings of the podcast. And folks, before we get ready to get into the Dream Zone interpretation, of course, we have to do some disclaimers, understanding that I am here to teach you on how to decode your dreams, and understanding that dreams are not a one-size-fits-all. And that means that's the importance of understanding on how and why you should decode your own dreams. And I am here to guide and teach you on that journey so that you can understand the messages. How Jung believed that dreams are the bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind. Here I teach you to decode your dreams, the messages from the unconscious, in which I call the spiritual dream realm. It's always nice to know some things, right? If there's any messages out there or warnings, right? Alrighty, and thank you so much for joining me here. Let's get ready to start the show. What I need you to do for me, folks, is taking a deep breath in real quick. Breathe out. Are you ready? Are you ready for a dream interpretation? All right, family. Show starts exactly in 5 minutes. Once we pass the disclaimers on the wonderful clips there, exactly in 5 minutes, go grab some popcorn, a drink, a beverage, and or get relaxed, and let's get into this dream interpretation. Fun fact time, guys. Do you know a young lady by the name of Marie Holmes? Ring a bell? All right. February 2015, Marie Holmes, a young lady out of the Carolinas, won an estimated Powerball of $188 million. So on my YouTube channel right now, the name of the YouTube channel is Girl Behind the Mic, MIC. I'm going to post some fun facts under the playlist for the Dream Zone interpretation. And over there, you can also communicate with me in the comments section, subscribe, and be sure to share the Dream Interpretation podcasts that are uploaded there. And I'm also going to make it a point to note these fun facts and dreams that have manifested and all this awesome stuff as it pertains to the dream realm. But I'm excited to tell you about Marie Holmes. This is totally fun fact, right? So get this, check this out. Marie Holmes goes and plays the Powerball and wins a whopping $188 million. Do you know how she attained that win? Dun, 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 dun. All right, so Marie Holmes' mother had a dream about her deceased son, and she then took that dream and took the son's date of birth. And I want to say she will tell you the rest of the information in this small clip that first aired on OWN back in about 2016. And this is from Ian Levin's show, and it's a clip from the OWN network. But check it out. Marie Holmes' mother will tell you in her own words how she got those numbers that won Marie Holmes the $188 million. I like to just include these fun facts, guys. Come on. Decode the dreams. Come on. And now I'm not saying that we're all going to win the Powerball, but what is the messages that are what are the messages trying to come through from the spiritual realm? Don't miss out. All right. So listen to Marie Holmes' mother in her own words.
Tell her how she won the lottery. Tell her.
I kept dreaming about your brother that we lost. His birthday, he was the third child. He would have been 25 that year. And those were the numbers.
Welcome back. I'm so excited to be back here. And August marks the year for the podcast. And I deeply want to say thank you all so much for continuing to upload, to subscribe, to download, to stream these podcasts. I am so humbled. I am so excited. And I thank you so much for that. I may not be able to see you face to face, but definitely energy is transferable. And analytics don't lie. And I appreciate you all. I'm very, very humbled, and I'm very, very grateful, and continue to upload, download, stream the podcast. I'm working on material here, just trying to be ahead of the schedule to have enough and trying to stop being a perfectionist. But in those endeavors, I was also seeking spirit because truthfully, I could sit here and continue on the path of giving you spiritual knowledge, especially from my cultural background and as I have grown in that spiritual knowledge. But I wanted to add something here because also, we like to read books as well, right? We like to do references, and I wanted to add some information in here. And so this part of the year and season before we endeavor to go to the next part of the dream decoding that I'm super excited about. I mean, we're going to venture into all possibilities. You are going to be blown away by other possibilities as it pertains to the dream realm and decoding the messages from the dream realm. Oh yeah, you're not just sleeping, family. Didn't you know that? Okay, so I'm so excited to bring that to you. Oh, but before the class graduates and goes to the intermediate Dream Decoding Academy, I wanted to bring in some references, and I've been, the longevity in between everything else, I've been trying to gather around literature that I could also recommend. And I didn't want to just pick something up and not go through it and then just throw it your way and then confuse anybody or mislead anybody, if that makes sense. I wanted to be the first person to, of course, go through that. So as we truck along on the Dream Zone Interpretation podcast, we're going to incorporate some references. And we're going to incorporate some references. I found a book. She did. And how are you all doing? I hope that this podcast is finding you and your family doing well in these times. All right. Remember to always guard your energy. Guard your energy. All right. So we are going to be taking small references from the book Dream Language, Self-Understanding Through Imagery and Color. This is by Robert J. Haas. Haas is spelled as H for hotel, O for Oscar, S for Sam, S for Sam. So you can always Google this book, get you a copy. I got a copy on my Kindle as well as I'm getting a physical copy mailed out. I'm one of those people, electronic to paper, back in the day, especially when Kindle came out, you could not have convinced me to even go electronic. A lot of people used to always ask me, so are you going to get a Kindle? Are you going to da-da-da? And I was like, no, because I love the paper feel, right? But as times went on and book lists grew and like the anticipation and then like the entire COVID situation and then anticipation for I love getting like a new book read, and I get so, I don't know, I'm like a little kid in a candy store, and it's like, get so antsy, and then it's like, I can't wait. Amazon Prime is not quick enough. 2-day shipping is not quick enough. So let's just download it. But however, continue to get my paperback for my library. All right. So we're going to be referencing small parts from Dream Language, Self-Understanding Through Imagery and Color by Robert J. Haas. I picked this particular book because to understand all things spiritual, you have to also understand deeply all things image and color. Dream decoding is not just waking up and thinking, okay, well, I had a dream that I was walking in a park for 60 seconds. I saw a yellow bench and I saw a white dog that was on a red leash that was walking on its own. However, the grass was purple. So all of these factors matter: the color of the grass, the color of the leash, the color of the dog, the color of the bench. And we've never really gone deep into this. I do have the dream zone interpretation sheet that you can locate at www.onewordmemorybengesa.org, and it's under the blog section. You could copy and paste it onto your own documents, and you could fill it out as you go, fill it in as you go. And so that started off as a 101, just to get your mind going and your energies flowing. But as we get deep into decoding the dreams, I want y'all to know that it's imperative to know that every single piece of the dream, as spoken before, as I've said before, matters. It matters. I didn't want to overwhelm the class by just offloading everything, because it'd be like, wait a minute, nobody's got time to do all of that. But we could do the basics, right? So in the next couple of Dream Zone interpretations, we're going to go down through decoding dreams and just revisiting a familiar territory, where at the start of the podcast there, I also linked in some things that I knew spiritually that I personally had done to help me along the dream interpretation path. But now I'm going to fuse these two wonderful formulas together. One, where you see one, you see the other. We're going to fuse the science with the spiritual, where to be scientific is to find spiritual knowledge, and to find spiritual knowledge is to find scientific evidence. All right. That says Memory Bengesa Mosley. All righty. So now let's find out a little bit more about the author, right? So let's find more a little bit about the author. All right. So Robert J. Haas, he holds a Master of Science degree and has training and or experience in Gestalt therapy and various humanistic and contemporary dream working approaches. He was also a former scientist and applied researcher with 4 patents and a global corporate executive at both American Express and IBM. Gestalt therapy is a humanistic, holistic, person-centered form of psychotherapy that is focused on a person's present life and challenges rather than delving into past experiences. All right, so that is whose book we're reading from. So suffice it to say also what I am going to do, because this is somebody's works. Well-researched works is the other reason why I picked this book. This man has been living in this and doing this, and this is his works. So we want to respect the author's works. I know how important that is. And so we will touch on small parts in the book, and feel free to purchase a copy of the book. And what I'm going to do is focus on the parts where I'm able to see a free sample through Kindle. That's fair enough, because anybody and everybody that has a Kindle app or a Kindle device, you're able to go and also download a free sample, and you're able to see this information as well. So we won't be going into the depth of the book, but I do highly recommend you pick up this book if you're a person that's deeply fascinated and really want to know more, especially of the well-researched scientific evidence as it pertains to the dream realm. And always also apply your intuition into the books. One of the reasons in life I've never picked up a I'm using this book and I love this book, but I've never picked up one of those books. I think it's like Understand Your Dreams and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying they're not, you shouldn't pick them up. You should. I'm pretty sure they have good information in there. But one of the other things that you have to understand about dream decoding in the spiritual realm is that, remember, it's not a one size fits all. So definitely there are probably guides on how to navigate your dreams and or symbolisms from your dreams, but remember to always incorporate your intuition, your knowing, your higher self, the spirit person in you, for that decoding, because you're the only person that knows where you are in that time. I hate to sound like a broken record, but I like to be really careful with this information, because everyone's journey is unique to each person. Not if it could be twins, triplets, quads, they're all on their own individual journeys. So that doesn't mean if you do dream the same dream, for instance, if a husband and wife for some reason have the same exact dream, that doesn't mean that that same exact dream means the same thing for both people. It just depends on what these two people are in their life's journey. And in their life's journey and or purpose, and etc. I hate to use purpose, but in their life's journey. Okay. Alrighty, she has done a big disclaimer. Okie dokie, let's tarry along. We'll start off with the part, and so the most common question, let's get into this, right? The most common question is, how do I, remember my dreams? Where can I, how do I remember my dreams? What to do? So let's start off with the very first section here for the Dreamwork. According to author Robert here, they state that record the dream. And for those of you that have been following the podcast, you remember that's one of the things that was on the list there. And I personally use my cell phone just, because the minute I get up, I click the record button and I just start blabbing. And then, of course, I like to utilize my Alexa to tell me the date so that I could record that in there, and year, and record that in there. All righty. Okay, so the first thing you want to do for those that are wanting to do the dream work, and or to, hold on to those dreams, the author writes, record the dream as if you are re-experiencing it. But this is what I found really cool, guys. Use first person present tense. That's mind-blowing. Right? I mean, in times that I've done my dream decoding, of course, I'm in the dream. It's me and I'm using me, of course. But I like the fact that they advise to use present tense. Also note any emotionally significant situation that is going on in your life at the time. Remember, when you look at my dream decoding sheets at the website there, or in the last podcast, I've always, when we break down dreams in this class of ours, in this ongoing tutorial of dream interpretation, you understand that the energy is very important. Energy is always important. It's not a one size fits all. And remember what I've always said, when you wake up, how are you feeling? What is the mood? I mean, sometimes you could wake up feeling tense, happy. I remember I only had this dream one time where I woke up and I was crying in my physical being, like tears, crying, like tears. Like it was an afternoon nap too, to make matters kind of different and interesting. Not that one, I mean, when you sleep, you sleep. Not that night or daytime has anything to do with it, but it was just so bizarre. Like when I jumped up out of, set up, tears were streaming. And in that dream, I had dreamt that I was in this case. It seemed like a case that is weird to explain. It was like a room, a case. It had 4 corners, but it was moving. And there was a little window because I peeked out that window and it was like we were on a road. But I was in there by myself, rocking back and forth, holding on to my knees. I was singing. I don't recall the song, but I was in such peace. But when I looked out that window, there was a tornado, which, we'll do a dream interpretation about different things such as tornadoes and so forth if we have not yet. So when I woke up, I was tears were streaming down, And in my heart, I felt a surmountable amount of peace. And in that moment, I was going through a very deep situation where I knew that tornado was representing the chaos around the situation, but the divine had appeared in there to remind me that all is well. It's peace. Peace will over and supersede that situation at that moment. And those tears were almost like tears of relief. It's the only moment that I had such a thing happen where it spewed over into my physical being when I woke up. All right. So record the dreams. Use your lay on your nightstand. Have a notebook, a pen, or a recording device, a cell phone, something to help you remember. But the nugget here is use first person and present tense. And so now let's go on to number 2, metaphors in the dream story. Look for statements in the dream story that sound like they also might describe something going on in your life at the time. Okay, so the author here writes them as metaphors. Absolutely. So this is that knowing, guys, is very important. I hate to sound like a broken record, but each and everyone knows. You know exactly. You have that awareness, that consciousness. To be aware is to be conscious. To be conscious is to be aware. But you know what's going on in your life, or you have that knowing of what's, okay, there's tension at work. Maybe you don't know what's going on, but you just feel that there's tension. So perhaps if you do have a dream where there's a blistering hurricane and you're running from it, perhaps that could be something about it. You know exactly what's going on in your life. So take an evaluation. And if you don't know, just, I listen, meditation, the art of meditation to get to the knowing of what's going on. All righty. So number 3, the author writes, work on a dream image. All right. And it says in parentheses here, the 6 magic questions. A, pick one or more dream images that seem important, curious, or emotionally significant. That's a great point. And so within your dream, in your spiritual dream realm, you look, for instance, let's go back to our little dog in the park. Work on a dream image. So now we have a white dog on a red leash. There's a yellow bench in the park and the grass is purple. So you're going to pick things that are also symbolically connected to you, right? And or once you sit down to decode, you write what red means, what white means, perhaps what even a dog means to you at that time. It's all symbolisms, guys. Remember that too. And remember, if you have been an Advent follower of the podcast, you will also be reminded that even though spiritual decoding of spiritual dreams is decoding the symbolic messages, sometimes you may have a vision, which is something that is not symbolic, which will show up the same exact way as it appeared in your spiritual dream realm. So just be also conscientious of that, right? All right. So, but as it pertains to the spiritual dream realm and dreams and symbolism, so now you want to also, in that imagery, you want to perhaps maybe, why am I dreaming of purple grass? Grass is typically green, and if it's burnt brown or something like that, so maybe you want to go into that further some more. Is purple your favorite color? And what does purple mean? I know it means royalty and all this other, you could break down those colors as well and get to the depth of the emotional significance as it pertains to you in that moment of that waking moment. All right. So the author says here on B, let the image speak. Go back into the dream and become the dream image. Speak as the dream image and record your statements. Speak in the first person present tense. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Because you see, and I'm so excited that I'm able to, because I did want I was like, this was God sent, because I had been looking for books and I wanted the right book. And this book is really phenomenal, because one thing I don't want to neglect is the fact that I'm able to breeze through the decoding of my dreams or helping someone else decode their dreams or the visions that I get. And then I didn't want to also, because it's one of those things like you teaching somebody how to drive a car and you've been driving for a long time. it's easy for you, but you forget to really tell them, you got to start the key. You put the key in the thing, in the ignition, and turn it, and you just, with some of those baby steps are crucial. So I really, really love the fact that the author writes, let the image speak. So you lay there, you've recorded your dream, or you revisit your dream, you can remember your dream, you go back into the dream and become the dream image. Speak as the dream image and record your statement. Speak in the first person and present tense. Pretty cool. I've always loved going back into the dream when it's been pleasant dreams, not scary messages, because it's like I sit on them all the time. Like, that was really like refreshing. I love that. All right, so let's go on here. Is everybody having a aha moment? All right. So now the author also describes, as we do our dream work, the author says, who or what are you? Describe yourself. So now you've had this dream, the white dog in the park with the red leash, nobody walking it, perhaps a yellow park bench, and the grass is purple. And in this dream that you're having, who or what are you? So isn't that something resonating? Oh my gosh, who or what are you? Wow. Okay, so you describe yourself and how you feel. And it says here, I am, and you fill in the blank. So you've had that dream, right? And so now, majority of the dreams, and I believe most people that I have helped decode the dreams, let me speak for myself first. So majority of the dreams that I've had, I call them, as a writer, I call them third person omniscient, meaning that, I'm seeing what's happening, but I am not in the picture, if that makes sense. And then when I've described it to my husband, he said, yeah, kind of like a video game, and I'm not a big gamer. And so, but it made sense in the video games I've seen where either, the main character has to pick an avatar. So your avatar is doing all the work, but you're not necessarily seeing your avatar. You're seeing what you're doing, whether you are, going hunting or fishing. My husband's video game was like fishing. I didn't even know that existed. So all I saw was you get the fishing rod. And so for a while, I'll just hear this noise. I'm like, what the heck is that? He's like, I'm fishing, babe. I'm fishing. So anyways, so something like that. So, and then I harken back to the people that have helped decode the dreams. They seem as well to have been in that third person omniscient point of view where they see other things around them, and they're aware of the other things around them, but they don't necessarily see themselves in the dreams. And there's not a one size fits all. Some people, hold on, let's think about this. Actually, one of the dreams, because we don't have time, so let me recall one real quick. One real quick I had was when I was 13. That one was a little bit freaky, and it was on, and this is, okay, I gotta calm down because I'm so excited in the next chapter we're going to. Okay, but let's just describe this dream, and then we'll deal with this when we get to the other chapter of getting really into the depths of the spiritual dream realm and the possibilities in the spiritual dream realm. But I was about 13 years old, and I was running down, I will never forget that dream. I was running down a cobblestone narrow road. Now listen, I had never been to Italy. The only thing on my passport is an Italian visa, but we still had never made it to Italy. You see what I'm saying? And so I was running I know, I'm like, okay, we got an Italian visa, so it's well expired by now, but I was 13 and I was running down this cobblestone. It had this like ancient feel to it, and I was running away from two people that looked like ninjas, is what I can describe it in 2021. They had all you could see was the eyes, and they were all draped in, they had black attires, and they had guns on them. And I was running down, and I was seeing myself run down this cobble street, and I had my hands raised. You guys don't laugh, but I had my hands raised, and I was screaming out, I will die for Jesus. Like, fam, what's going on? I was 13 and I was running down that cobblestone. I was like, I will die for Jesus. I will die for Jesus. I will die for Jesus. And then I remember just plopping myself to my knees, and my hands were still raised. I'm watching this. And I heard, weird enough, I was watching it. I heard the clunking. And in that moment, I turned back. The point of view was now me turning back and looking at, from watching it, watching myself run. The next thing I know is clunking when I hit the knee. My knees hit the cobblestone. And they had dropped the weapons and they were running the opposite way. And so, but it reminded me of, like, if you look at those Google images, like, I guess it's like, I'm gonna have to do more research in that. It looked, I don't know why it reminded me like of Italy or just ancient. Like, the road was real narrow. It was cobblestone. They had the little windows and the little flowers hanging out, if you know what I'm saying. But anywho, so I digress. So that one was weird. That was definitely me seeing myself run, and then me then in the last part being in the third person omniscient kind of view, looking back and observing that. But listen, those are all infinite possibilities that happen in our spiritual dream realm. But I know for the majority of the majority of dreams, I've always been the active avatar, active person in those dreams. Like, all right. And so the author says, who or what are you? Describe yourself and how you feel. All right, I am. And then the author also says, alternatively, if the dream character is someone you know, then as that person, describe your personality. Alternatively, if the dream character is someone you know, then as that person, describe your personality. In what ways are you like the dreamer? In what ways are you different? A moment to ponder. Wow. So we've had a lot of amazing Dreamwork references here, right? Record the dream. And we're looking for metaphors in the dream story. Work on a dream image. And the author lists the 6 magic questions. And that's what we've been going down. Pick one or more dream images that seem important. Because sometimes dreams could be so chaotic or just a whole lot of. That's what I call it, a whole lot of. And it's like, oh my gosh. I pick out the important things. Pluck out the important things. Keep it moving. Let the image speak. And then we just touched on who or what are you. Describe yourself and how you feel I am. And then alternatively, if the dream character is someone you know, then as that person, A, describe your personality. And B, in what ways are you like the dreamer? C, in what ways are you different? All right. See you guys in the next session. And we're going to continue to work on the dream code as we celebrate the year marker of the podcast. This is what we call a refresher. And we have a source to cite from, a source to read from, a well-researched author. We're reading from the book of Robert J. Haas, and it's known as The Dream Language, Self-Understanding Through Imagery and Color. And he has done a great work in his research and all his work endeavors as it pertains to dream realm and dream work. All right, see you all in the next session.
For God speaks in one way and or in two, though man does not perceive it. He speaks in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men while they slumber on their beds. Happy dreaming.